start. So this morning, I'm really excited because number one, it's the end of October and it really kind of marks the beginning of like almost like holiday season, but it also marks the beginning of like, let's actually like think about next year because it's here, it's happening. And so instead of like having like a big Texas update and taking up too much time, I'll do that not next week, but the week after. Next week we have actual goal planning, so that'll be exciting. But today we have Jenn, and I'm really excited to, most of you guys know Jenn, but if you don't, then this is your opportunity to get to know Jenn. And if you didn't know parts of Jenn's story, you'll get to know them today. And I think some of the key things when I was talking to Jenn that I loved was the obstacles that she overcame, how she built habits into her life that are moving her forward, and like the clear vision that she has for herself. And I think we can all take things away from that. So Jenn, kind of introduce yourself and tell us like where you're from, where do you sell real estate? Like just give me kind of a little bit of a background. Start wherever you want and we'll go from there. Yeah.
Sure. Perfect. I was born and raised in Midland, Texas. So I'm originally from the West Texas area. I moved to Dallas about 16 years ago in 2000, the end of 2003, 2004 year. I've been here ever since. I was born from two teenage parents. I'm Hispanic, so I come from kind of the Hispanic culture, grew up raised by a lot of women, Catholic, strong Mexican women that, they raise their kids fear-based, so if you're not aware of the chancla or the cucuy, you don't know about this life yet. You don't know about fear yet. So everything was, don't do that because the cucuy is going to get you. Somebody's going to get you. Someone's going to snatch you. So I feel like that's probably where maybe some of my depression started. I was held to just stay inside, live in a bubble kind of family. My dad was, he received a full ride scholarship for baseball. So he got drafted his senior year of college and played 16 years played professionally, Major League Baseball for 16 years. He started his first 9 years in the league with the Yankees. And my parents were high school sweethearts. My dad was a typical athlete. They didn't make it. So I grew up in divorced household, living with two different sets of families, two different lifestyles, budgets, finances, and even religious beliefs. It allowed me to be a very well-rounded person in the midst. I say that now, I just turned 39, so I can look back at my life and appreciate it for what it is. But in the moment, you feel like you're being whipped around and just being punched and bruised along the way. You don't know where you fit in. My mom remarried and had children. My dad married, had their children, and just feeling this, like, where do I belong? Who am I? Being Hispanic, I was a cheerleader. I cheered competitively. So being Hispanic and into the cheer world, I didn't fit in. I got a big booty, I got big hips, I'm darker than everyone else. Everything was, I wasn't Mexican enough for the Mexican people. I wasn't white enough for the white people. So learning how to navigate in that gray area was very difficult for me. A lot of guys that I thought liked me only liked me because they wanted to get to know who my dad was. They wanted autographs. They wanted, free tickets to games. So it was having to learn about people's intentions and learn to study behaviors and patterns. My mom raised me as a single mom. So again, she's very Hispanic, fear-based. Everything was the cucuy, the chancla, you're grounded, you're going to go to hell or you get pregnant kind of situation. So my goals in life were to prove my mom wrong. Like, I'm not going to get pregnant. I will graduate. My dad was a professional athlete, so I had a lot of pressure. You know, I needed to feel like I had to be the best. I think a lot of the stress and pressure made me sick. So I was the sick kid growing up. I was in the hospital all the time. I've had 15 surgeries. I was diagnosed with endometriosis when I was 11 years old, and I had ovarian cysts. I swear, if you've ever read the Bible and know about the woman with the issue of blood, I swear that was me forever. And so my hormones fluctuating, constantly being put on birth control pills and steroids and all this stuff to manage everything, it jacked me up. You know, doctors are not quick to let you know, your parents know how medication for so long over periods of time can really mess with you, and your growth and all of that. So I dealt with that growing up, but I still cheered. I was still tumbling, still stayed active. I did it for the wrong reasons. And this is what I want everyone to really understand and grasp in this. While you can push past the suck in your situations, the reason why you're doing it matters most. Because for me, my why was to prove my parents wrong. And if you're doing it to prove anyone other than yourself, it's toxic, because people are faulty. We are sinners. We fall short. We will fail you. We will disappoint you. And it's in that process that you have to learn coping mechanisms, healthy ones, at that. And so kind of what this looks like today, and going into your success and business planning, is keeping those in mind, keeping those little things in mind. Shit happens, but it's how you handle it, how you cope in the moment, and what your true why is. So moving on, I went to college. I cheered in college, had a scholarship, $750. It paid for my books, but it was something. I felt like I was coming from a place of contribution to my family. Like, you don't have to pay for everything. I got it. I was very rebellious. I went against my parents' thoughts and beliefs. So my dad was like, you're on your own. Figure it out. If you're not going to do what we say and how we say, have at it. So I did. It was difficult. It was tough. During that time, I got engaged. That fell through, thank goodness. There's God's provision in that. And then I did get diagnosed with cancer. It was a rough time. I was here in Dallas by myself. I didn't have family. My dad still wasn't really talking to me much. And it was a humbling season. My mom was adamant for me to go back home, but I swore if I went back to Midland, I would die. I felt the doctors messed me up over there anyway. So I stayed here, and for 2 years, I had 3 surgeries. By the time I was 25 years old, I had to have a complete hysterectomy. And when you grow up Hispanic and your value is you be a wife and a mom of 5 kids or whatever, when that's taken from you, how you view yourself as a woman changes. And it, for lack of a better word, it fucks you up in so many different ways. And you realize what you put your value in, and you either realize that you're going to fall victim to that, or you're going to overcome that. And what does that look like? And my mom always told me, Jennifer, just because you can't have children biologically doesn't mean you can't ever be a mother. But I didn't know if I could ever love another child the way I could love one that I birthed on my own. Now I sit here today as a mother of a 6-year-old that we adopted. He was 8 days old. So we went through failed adoptions. I just went through a divorce. So lots of guilt and shame all over the place. My ex-husband is in real estate. In fact, we work in the same building, we work in the same brokerage, and I have to pass by his door to get to our door. and he had an affair with the receptionist in our office. So when you think it just couldn't get worse, it just sometimes does, but it's how you deal with it. And it's either you run from it or you run straight through it. And running through things requires you bleeding a lot. And you shatter, absolutely. You fight or you flight. And for some reason, God has always put me in situations where I've had to fight. And I'm okay with that. I feel like I function better in the fight. In fact, I had to reprogram my brain, because in moments that it's good and it's calm and things are working out, I'm like, where's the shoe's gonna drop? Something bad's about to happen. Good things never happen to me. And I've had to change that completely. And it's not easy. And I'm sorry if you jumped on this call and you thought it was going to be rainbows and sunshine and bunny tails, but I want to make you money, and I want to make you the best version of yourself. We don't have to be friends, but I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I wish people would have done that to me early on, instead of coddle for such a long time or make me feel like a victim and like, oh, pobrecita, she's just going to, it's like, no, I don't need that. And if you're in that area, you joined the #1 team in Keller Williams, right? Ben Kinney team, I consider us the Yankees or the Cowboys, and you may not like those teams, and that's okay, but they are what they are. Or you could join, the Cubs or, whatever, but you chose to join the #1 team. So what does that look like? And we're about to kind of dive into that and what that looks like. Again, I said my ex-husband is in real estate. So my real estate background is I saw him fail miserably. I saw him nothing that was taught. And I now learning what we've learned, and the wise words from Ben to Adelina to Sarissa, I'm like, I go back and forth, and I have an inner conflict where I'm like, man, if he knew this, if he would have applied this, could we still been married? And the answer to that is absolutely not. But nonetheless, I know that there is, in this simplicity, there is gold in this. And we'll talk about like budgeting and why it's so important to know your finances. But when you know your numbers, on the numbers that you want to hit, or when you know your budget, when you know your finances, it's easy to plug in your numbers so you can find out what your goals are, what your appointments are, kind of what your daily lead gen needs to look like. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I know I'm balls to the wall. I can go. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm not worth beans. So I have to incorporate that. Chris Suarez said on a call one time, I choose to live an integrated life. And that was huge for me. I was like, what does that even mean? And he's like, we're self-employed. We're not W-2 employees. So we don't have the weekends off. So if you need a, Tuesday, Wednesday off to do absolutely nothing, go get your nails done, go get the oil change, get your inspection, get your driver's license picture remade, whatever, those little dumb things that you have to do, get it done. It's fine. Because all in all, what that ends up happening is it causes backup and blockage and this anxiety. And then what are we taught in this world? Take a pill for it and it'll go away. It doesn't. The only thing that makes that anxiety go away is if you tackle those priority lists, those nagging little things to do. How do I do that? You better time block. Put it in there. You may not stick to it initially. Actually, you won't. I tried it for a year and I'm still fine tuning and tweaking, and it's okay. Just don't give up. If you stop for 2 or 3 days, that's okay. Go back and do it again. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until the first of the month or the beginning of an odd year, or whatever kind of nonsense BS you tell yourself, Every day you have new mercies. Every day you have the ability to be a better version of yourself than you were the day before.
Do you want me to do that? Do you want me to do the screenshot of what you have?
That would be great.
All right. So I'd love to talk about, like, what does it actually look like for you? Like, you've got, you have, in my opinion, have really been influential in mastering your perfect day and vision for yourself. Start what that actually looks like. Give us like a 5-minute like synopsis. I'm going to screen share what you sent me so that everybody can follow along.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it actually started off as a binder. Like I put it on this sheet for you guys so you have some sort of point of reference for it. But it kind of starts off tab 1. And, you know, you don't have to be real snazzy and scientific about it. It's like, what do I say to myself? What are you telling yourself every day? If I drop the ball on something, I'm like, oh my God, you're such an idiot or dumbass or whatever. The things I say to myself and the things you say to yourself matter. Sarissa said this one time in a power up, like your cells eavesdrop. And I know she R&D'd that from somewhere, but your cells eavesdrop on your thoughts. So what you say matters. So I start off with my affirmations, my I am statements. I am what? For me, confidence, being bold and brave is very foreign to me. In fact, right now I'm shaking. I'm nervous. I didn't graduate college because I was 1 credit shy. And guess what freaking course it was in? Public speaking, speech communication. So I need a standing ovation at the end of this just to make it feel like it was worth it, okay? So, but yeah, start with your I am statements. You know, I am bold, I am brave, I am confident. Even when you don't feel like it, tell yourself that because you're going to work towards it. Your business affirmations. Who are you? I am, at the moment, I am not a listing machine, but that is my goal. And so I'm just going to say that, you know, this is the part of the fake it till you make it. This is where that applies. Does that make sense? You know, it's not, oh, fake, I got millions of dollars and I got Gucci this, blah, blah, blah. This is what you fake until you make. So let's just make that clear. Kind of go over the words that you want to describe yourself. I am newly licensed. I don't think we mentioned that. So I just passed my test August 16th of last year. So in Bold, I joined Bold right away. It was the best decision I could have ever made. And they jacked me up on like the last day of Bold. They said, write a eulogy to yourself. And who would read it and what would they say about you? And it was like, what the heck? Like, this is not, I don't know if anyone would show up to my funeral at this point. So when it says words that describe me or my life, I think that's a starting point, right? This exercise is difficult because you do have to dig deep. You can't be superficial about it. And there's a reasoning why. I also have bold laws. Sometimes those bold laws call me out on my BS. I'm not even gonna lie. There are times where I'm trying to make a decision and I come to a conclusion and then I justify it and I'm like, oh, you can have results or you can have reasons, but you can't have both. You know, so it's having that accountability on yourself to call yourself out sometimes. The next tab is who I want to become. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be as an individual? For me, these are mine. As an individual, as a mom, what do I want my family to kind of look like? My family values. What kind of wife do I want to be? If I ever want to get married again, I'm not sure. Business, you know, what do I want to see flourish in my business? Who do I want to be when I grow up? You're not too old to be a kid. In the Bible, he says, have childlike faith. This is what that looks like. Business planning also, it doesn't have to be, you know, on a computer with spreadsheets. It could be markers and pens and colors and Sharpies and Post-its. Let your child like creativity flow in this area because it is tedious. It's digging up all the yuck about yourself. And so put glitter on it. Shoot, who cares? Whatever it takes to at least go through these exercises with yourself. Y'all, I even put on here, what kind of ex-wife do I want to be? These are all the different hats that we have to wear as human beings. And so I have to deal with this mofo all the time. And so in order for me to be my best self and to not prove to him that I am the crazy Mexicana that he wants everybody to believe I am, I kind of am, but whatever. I have to tell myself what kind of ex-wife I need to be and what kind of characteristics I need to display. And then what my passion is. What is your passion? What do you want? What do you want to tell the world? What do you want to tell your family? What do you want to tell your kids? What are your standards? What are your boundaries? Yeah, start there. Next. Oh, this one's a good one. Your future self. Your professional future self, your financial, physical future self, social future self, family, and spiritual. Make those categories for yourself. Guys, do this with your spouse. It'll be enlightening. You guys will get onto one. I'm telling you again, like, I wish somebody would have told us this, but never mind. Do this for yourself. Remind yourself on the day. Okay, so there's a bold law that says do not mistake movement for the production. Achievement. Do not mistake movement for achievement. Sometimes you can work from bed and it's okay. You're not moving around, but sometimes we confuse busy with productive. Right? So in moments like this where you're like, I need to lead gen, do this, break this down first. Your lead gen time will be there. You can reschedule that somewhere. But when you get this down on paper, it alleviates so much. It allows a runway versus a runaway. Are you creating runaway situations? Or are you creating runway situations for yourself? Brain dump. Yes, clarity 100% is power. So gain some clarity on some things. If your marriage or your business partnerships are failing, get back together and this is what it looks like. Next, your financials. Okay, so these are mine. So I have a BAM and a bar. So my BAM stands for my bare ass minimum. Like if I had to beans and rice this boat for the rest of my life, what is the bare ass minimum I have to make in order to get me and Luke doing our thing? And so I urge you to do that as well. That's with business and personal. Number 2 is your bar, BAR. That's your bomb ass return. When you're balling until you're falling, until you're dripping, what does that look like? But don't go crazy. None of this says Gucci, Prada, none of that says Bentley, Maserati, none of that. Those are the things that you need to get first. This is not my advice. It's not only Ben's advice. If you did Win, Make, Give, you know that having a Roth IRA, your taxes for your money market account, all of that stuff needs to be done. Hopefully my health insurance, when I hit 24 consecutive units, that'll be taken care of. So have those for yourself. This will help in setting up your days when you go to time block what your days kind of look like. Knowing your numbers. Numbers don't lie, so don't lie to yourself. Let's see, next. Okay, so here it is. How am I going to make this happen? This is what my Sunday through Friday looks like for the most part. Every single day when your alarm goes off, don't look at your phone. I haven't read every single book that a millionaire has written, but I follow a lot of them on social media, and a lot of them have podcasts and whatever. They all say the same thing. So what you see at the very top, the red and then the little orangey, y'all, When we hear CEOs and presidents of companies say they have 16-hour days, we're over here thinking, I got to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning and I got to just hammer out these Brevity leads, blah, blah, blah. No, it starts early in the morning because this is how it starts. Make your bed, brush your teeth, drink your water. Don't look at your phone. Y'all, I've done that for 32 days and it's great. I actually have time locked in here 3 times a day when I'm allowed to look at my email. And I only found that out because I have this binder that you can get from Bold. It's a Bold binder. And it has like a time inventory sheet, if you will. So you write down, so I was challenged in January and February, write down what you're doing on a, minute or hourly basis. Yeah, it was not cute. I was like social media, email. That's the difference between being busy and being productive, right? You can still do social media, change your mindset with how you tackle social media. Go on there like, I'm looking for content. I'm looking for other agents to partner with as a referral. Am I liking and commenting on other people? Say, am I being social? Or am I just there for the party? So lost my train of thought.
Anything else on this screen?
Sorry?
Anything else on this screen?
No, I mean, I had to, because checking my email and social media was such a time suck for me the first 2 months. I realized I needed to get that under control. So I needed to time block it, give myself an allowed time to do it. So sometimes you act like a little crackhead and you're like, you're about, some of you I've seen you in traffic or at a red light, or you're waiting to exit the stinking office and I'm behind you and I'm like, what are you doing? Get off your butt, because you're looking through freaking Facebook. I know it. And so it's like, if you give yourself time to do it, you can stay focused a little bit more. No, it's coming. You got to earn it. Right? Treat yourself with your social media. If that's where you kind of brain dump and just kind of flip on and off to la la land, fine, earn it. We teach our kids to earn an allowance to do chores. Do that to yourself.
Hold on one second. So I like, because it's getting close to the 9 o'clock hour, anybody who needs to get off, you can certainly get off. One conversation I do want to get into, Jen, is so your results, 16 units, right?
Yep.
Right. So this is 16 units in your first year so far. Mm-hmm. And I have loved the conversation that you and I had around an assistant.
Yes.
And when you first said that to me, I want to be really like, Sharon was sitting in the room with me, and I think I probably just stopped and I was like, oh my God, we are not talking about an assistant at 16 units. Like, I do know. That is not our model, right? And then I'm so glad we dug deep into it, because it is assistant, but it's very different. Give me your thoughts on all of that. So okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this side of it. And what I skipped was what to watch, what to listen, manifestation, and quotes. You guys will all get a copy of this, but I want to get down to the assistant part. So if this interests you, stay on the line. If it doesn't, you can get offline and it's all good. But I wanted to make sure we got into this conversation for the next 5-7 minutes.
Yep. So I saw Sarissa, Elizabeth, and Daniel all hire assistants. And I might have a little bit FOMO. I might, just a little bit. But I saw how it just, they kept saying, I wish I would have done this sooner. I wish this would have alleviated so much. I wish I should have done it better. And it was or sooner. And it was like, okay, why? If they wish that, then those who are successful and have come before me, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Do I take what they say and let it go in one ear and out the other? Or do I implement a plan to where I need to do that? Well, then the conversation came up, and according to the Ben Kinney model, It was like, you have to have so many units, close so many units a year. And I'm like, okay, that's their model. But I'm newly divorced. I didn't have a job. I was a stay-at-home mom. I worked for my ex-husband, but I didn't get paid. So I had no money. So it's freaking crazy. God has just worked some insane miracles for me this year. And so I came up with this make believe. I'm like, okay, if I were to hire Rosie from the Jetsons, that's my dream person. What is she going to do? And I'm just going, as I tackle real estate and every facet of the stages that I have to go through, whatever does not bring me joy, whatever I do not like, I'm putting it on her list. That's hers to deal with. And so because the last thing I wanted to do was have the stress of hiring someone and then have the stress of figuring out what to train them on what to do. So it was like, if the goal is to get an assistant, buy an assistant, get an assistant, hire an assistant, I have to kind of just start feeding crumbs onto this plate until it actually makes a meal. And by the time it makes a meal, I'm already anxiety, kind of stressed. And this is the perfect time where she can come in. I don't have to lose my mind. I don't have to take medication for that. I can sleep. I can function. I pay her $10 an hour. She works 13 hours a week for me. And that right there is what she does. Also, this is such a huge tip. And actually, I'm very grateful for my ex-husband for teaching me this. He said, when you're creating CMAs, or if you're creating a new lead in Bravery, or setting up a listing report or market report, Zoom it and record it and create a folder with all of these videos, how-to videos already. So when your assistant comes in, you're like, I need you to do this. Here's the videos on how. Be resourceful, figure it out. And if they can't, 86 them. If they can't do step-by-step in what you've taught them and you have a video, I don't know what to tell you. So I had to work with what I had. So when we did the Win, Make, Give, and we had to shed things from our budget, I shed $530 from my budget. So it was like, well, what do we do with that? Do we put it in the Roth IRA? Do we spend it? Do we have more margaritas on Tuesdays for happy hour? What does that look like? And it's like, if I do not want to take more anxiety medication, antidepressants, if I want to sleep, I need to hire an assistant. And it's been the best $530 for the last 2 months of my life so far. So just because there are rules in play, you can either, again, results or excuses, but you can't have both. Results are reasons, but you cannot have both. I was telling Adelina, the greatest thing is when I do hit those units, she gets to come on full time, but my budget stays the same, because then the company absorbs, half of her wages. So for me, it's a win-win. So act now, don't put it off until later, is kind of the gist of it, I suppose.
I love that. I love that you pretended you had an assistant for a while, and it wasn't real. It was just on paper. What would they do? And then so I imagine like somebody that you're paying, $10 an hour, this is like someone bright who just graduated high school, or a college kid. Is that like who you're really looking for in that?
Yes. She just graduated high school, first year of community college, and she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. And I asked her what her goals and what her vision was. She's like, I want to be a social media influencer. I was like, perfect. I need a social media manager. So because of that, you're going to learn TikTok algorithms, Instagram algorithms. You're going to learn how to do, all these fancy fonts and all kinds of stuff. We're going to come up with content. Whatever we learn on my stuff, you can parlay into your stuff, and boom, we'll take over the world. Maybe. I don't know.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. The reason I wanted to bring this up, you guys, is because you can't do it all, but it can get done, right? And I'm not saying everybody go out and like and hire an assistant. That's not, hear me. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is do what Jenn did. First, Jenn didn't hire an assistant first and then do her budget. She did her budget. She shed things from her budget, opened up $500 a month, got clear on what that person would do, found the person. Then we got to this point, right? Like, and then one day, and I'm 100% sure of this, Jenn's going to have her 3, 4, 5 closings a month consistently, and this will grow into a full-time role, right? And you got to be like, you're always playing the balance. Like, what I want people to hear is when you take your personal life and your professional life seriously, like AKA mature adult, right? Like, this is called a mature adult right here. Like, these things are just like, successful people have success habits, and these are success habits. Like, Jenn is embodying this right now. When you have that, it makes perfect sense to like start bringing somebody on. If you do it before that, it's going to be really tough because you're not ready to lead someone. So I know that, you know, Jenn, you had some like limiting beliefs around it. How have you worked through any of the limiting beliefs around having somebody work with you?
Absolutely. And, you know, at the end of the day, bravery and mastery are never mastered. It's something you have to aim to achieve every single day. This is the perfect day. If I can get about 5 of these things done, you know, and this doesn't even include like, you know, inserting your numbers into CTE, which is super important as well. We have to call it a successful day. This is a lot of work. Again, when we talk about CEOs that say they work 12 to 14, 16 hours a day, they're including the wake up, drink your water, don't look at your phone, you know, but they're doing like those freaking crazy, insane sitz baths where they're cold water and then hot sauna and all kinds of crazy nonsense. We're not there yet. We're going to get there because we're the Yankees, right? So, the limiting beliefs are everywhere, every second of every day, but it's what you arm yourself with the knowledge, with truth, with who you are, with your vision, with your goals. Then whoever comes your way to try to talk you out of your purpose and your path, you can give them the middle finger and just be like, I'm sorry, you don't see what I see. And that's okay. It's okay. I would treat me that way too, but you don't know what I got going on. And it's okay. And it's having coping skills. I have this stinking book I have to read every day. It's Dialectical Behavioral Therapy Skills Workbook. I have a mouth, we'll just say that. I have a tongue, and so I have to control it, and it has to be meant for good and not for evil. And I know it can be, it can slice and dice, but I'm working on that. And so my coping skills are to just always just believe in the system, believe in yourself. Who you follow matters, and what you're feeding yourself matters. Whatever you're struggling with, y'all, the government is not sitting there trying to read your mind and stuff. You're just really predictable. So the things that you see that cater to you on your feed, you have a soft spot for it. That's your area of opportunity. You know, they're like, hey, spend money on me. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. If you're a guy, I feel sorry for you. If you struggle with sexual or porn addiction, there's half naked women all the time. And having to overcome that consistently, it's exercise. It's a mental beating. So who you follow, you know, sometimes you got to purge in that area too. Purge your closet, purge your clothes. That helps. That stinking drawer, the junk drawer, organize that, get it out of the way. The more you organize, the more you allow for space that actually matters. Your matter for matters.
That was really good. Can you guys hear me? Okay, it sounds like I'm in a tunnel over here. I just want to tell you guys, Jenn came out of the gates when she got her license and she had no excuses. And so she's built upon this over the last little bit here. But I mean, she just came out hitting the phones, no excuses. She's the girl that, like, she might not have had the script exactly perfect, but guess what? She was setting appointments because she didn't stop. And every time she got better and better and better. So, you know, what I don't want people to hear on this call is that she spent all this time planning and no doing, because Jenn actually started doing and she spent her personal time planning. And she's gotten results because of her being a doer. You guys should see her stinking pipeline. I mean, it's massive. And so I just want people to hear that too, that it wasn't all of this before the doing. And I'm very proud of her and just all the things that she continues to overcome and inspiration. And she's a good friend to everybody in the office and just a very good example. And she's shooting still for Rookie of the Year at our Dallas Preston Road office. So if you guys can all help just shoot good thoughts and prayers towards her for that, and a fabulous fourth quarter. So
I love that. Jenn, you deserve a standing ovation for sure. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And you guys, I have to tell you, I had no idea she was going to prepare all of this for us. This is such a gift. I am going to get off here and I'm going to send this to everybody. It's going to be in viewer only so that you don't mess it up for everybody else. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to just go over here to file. You'll want to go to make a copy, make your own copy, and use your personal time to do this, right? I love that Sarissa brought that up. Jenn is a hustler, right? You don't sell 16 units by just like planning your life away, right? You plan and then you do, and then you adjust, and then you do, and then you adjust, and then you do. And I love that. Thank you for bringing the success habits. You know what? If this is new to anybody, like that's cool, but it shouldn't be new for most people, right? It's a reminder, and we all need reminders. Thank you, Sarissa, for letting us know that Jenn is crushing this part of her life. Anything else, Jenn?
No, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for all your love and your support. I'm so grateful to be part of an amazing organization, and I know we're going to do great things.
All right, we'll have to have you back on this time next year and see what you have achieved.
For sure. I'd love
all
it.
Right. You guys have an awesome day, and we will see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.